So welcome everyone. We are starting this topic on seeds and sowing, and you can name this chapter as seed technology also because it will be a 2 to 3 series video wherein we'll cover the entire topic or entire areas relating to everything relating to seeds. So without wasting time, let's start then. What exactly is a seed? Right? You all know this. What exactly is a seed? But for writing something or in order to get the proper definition, we have set it like this. A seed is an underdeveloped plant embedded in an outer layer named as the seed coat, right? All of you know this. There is a coating every time above a seed, usually with some stored nourishment. Got it? The embryo is formed from the zygote, and the seed coat is formed from the integuments of ovule, completing the process of reproduction in plant, which began, right? How it started this reproduction process? It began with the growth of flowers and pollination. So we can say the entire life cycle of a plant can be written from seed to seeds. Yes or no? If you wish to write the entire life cycle of a plant, starting from a seed to becoming, right, or producing seeds, this is the complete life cycle of a plant. And that's why we say from seed to seed. So that represents the entire life cycle of a plant. The seed is a ripe, fertilized ovule and a unit of the flowering plant reproduction according to biology. A new plant will germinate from the seed. So in this particular chapter, we'll read about how the seed is developed, what is the science relating to a formation of a proper seed, then how a plant gets forms out of a seed. That means the entire germination procedure. So, and once we are done with the germination procedure, we can expect, yes, this portion of seed. We have talked about the plant's life, right? We have talked about their nutrient requirement, their life cycle and all that. But specifically, we need to take care of this, an important input in agriculture, right? All your if you are taking care of all other external environmental conditions like your nutrient supply, right, irrigation, temperature, humidity, all that. But if your seed quality is not good, if the seed itself is not proper, you might not be getting the expected yield. Okay, so let's move on next. There are certain terminologies related to seed. So one of the primary, right, that often comes is called your seed rate. What exactly is seed rate? Seed rate is determined by factors such as the seed germination, the seed size, crop growing habits, and so on. So can somebody tell me what would be the exactly seed rate? What is the seed rate? That means on a particular area, for example, if you have 1 hectare of land and you are going to grow some kind of crop, for example, let us take wheat, for example. So for 1 hectare of area, for a unit piece of land, that could be a hectare, that could be 1 acre or anything, उतने में कितना आपको सीड का रिक्वायरमेंट होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई से 10 kg per hectare, this is the unit of seed rate. Got it? So how much of seeds to be applied on a given amount of land is called your seed rate. And this particular seed rate is dependent on all these factors, that is seed size, the seed germination rate. That means you might be putting up 100 seeds, but out of that, right, there might be germination of around 80% of seeds. So accordingly, it will impact the seed rate also. Next is the crop growing habit and so many. So usually seed rate is calculated applying the following formula. Understand this thing. Remember this formula also. Seed rate kg per hectare is equal to target plants by m square. That means the area into the seed weight. That means this is the germination percentage, or we can write it this way also. Plant population per hectare by number of seeds per hill into test weight into 100 into 100, germination percentage, purity percentage into 1000 into 1000. So you can just simply remember this formula because it might be asked, but not that very important. But you should understand what is the definition of seed rate. Okay, there is no need of remembering this formula. Actually, I have just written because it's there in the book. But seed rate basically is the this is the definition. It is usually calculated. You should remember the unit kg per hectare. You should understand by then. But it is not that you are applying some quantity of seeds and everything is getting germinated. So there are different other factors like the seed germination rate, the seed size, cropping growth habits, and many other factors. So, and we have assembled everything in this formula. If we move on next, these are some of the important seed rates of most of the important crops. The common crops that we go, for example, you see, in case of rice, if you are going for transplanting, right, we'll know what are the different means of sowing seeds. If you are going for broadcasting, try to understand this thing. Broadcasting is something you simply, right, openly throw, right, making use of your hand or some machinery. That's called broadcasting of seed. You must all have seen how do normal farmers, right, sow plants. How do? They take up a bag full of seeds and take out something on the hand and just, right, simply throw them on the field. That mechanism is called as broadcasting. What about is transplanting? You develop saplings, right? You develop saplings, small sapling, and they are again, and this is a sapling bed, a very small piece of land intensely, purposefully prepared for sapling growth, and you remove that and you put it up like this, right? This is called as your transplanting. That means transplanting or transporting from the sapling bed to the actual field. This method is called as your transplanting. So by common sense, you all can understand that the percentage of success would be better in case of your broadcasting or in transplanting. Tell me, in which one the percentage of or the seed rate would be lesser, in which one? If the success rate of germination is better, then automatically the seed rate would be lesser. Got it? So since in case of transplanting, we are choosing plants from the sapling bed, which we have purposefully developed with all the care. And since you can see the numbers also in case of your rice, in case of your broadcasting, the seed rate is around 80 kg to 100 kg per hectare, whereas it comes down to 50 to 60 kg per hectare in case of the transplanting. So these numbers you need to remember somewhat, because questions do come at times. Got it? You cannot remember everything. In case of your dribbling and drilling, right, you will all see these methods. These three methods are generally used methods for most of the field crops, and particularly in case of your wheat and rice. Dipping and dribbling, what is that? You simply pluck one out of this and you purposefully plant it there using a machinery. That mechanism, that machinery name is called as dibbler. It again comes back. But in all the three cases, the final yield would be, right, the same. But the seed rate is gradually decreasing, and hence we are saving a lot of seeds and lot of input. The cost is getting reduced. Got it? In case of your hybrid rice, the seed rate is 15. In case of SRI method, what is SRI? System of rice intensification. Or in Odia, particularly those of you who understand Odia, this is called as Sri Paddhati. Or what is done there actually, we give enough spacing between seeds, and isko thoda Odia mein agar if you understand Odia, that's called dhadi pranali kuha jay. That means what? You plant, right, you plant the saplings on lines, and that with enough spacing. Got it? You give enough spacing. I will give you live pictures actually, in which during the plantation or during this transplanting, you might feel, am I giving so much of gap? Or ultimately you will see some final result pictures also. This method, this three method, is actually the most efficient method of transplanting rice. And you see, in case of three methods, the right seed rate is only 6 kg to 8 kg per hectare. So this is the best method, you can remember this. In case of your wheat, this is the combination for your wheat category. In general case, the wheat seed rate is 100 to 125, but even it comes down in case of your hybrid wheat, the seed rate is very, very less. Is that clear to all of you? So this table is also equally important. You should remember, right? In case of hybrid wheat, the seed rate is 67. On a general, this is. If the question is, what is the seed rate? What is the seed rate in case of wheat? If this question is coming, understand the difference. If the question is, what is the seed rate of wheat? You should simply go for this one. But if it is asking, what is the seed rate in case of hybrid wheat? Then your answer should be this one. So these are some important numbers that you should remember. Got it? You cannot remember everything, I know that, but at least you should have a fair idea so that it doesn't look very surprising for you all in the exam, because these all questions are generally asked. Got it? Now, let us go next. These are all the different kinds of crop and their seed rates. Got it? You can remember them. We will provide you that. Now let us go to what are the different sowing methods. So there are 5 sowing methods. First is broadcasting, very simple one and very archaic one that you often see a farmer standing in the field with a bag of seeds and he's throwing all around with the help of a simple hand. That method is called as your broadcasting. Next is transplanting. This is also you must have seen already. I don't have to explain. You prepare a seed bed, you grow the seedlings, then you transplant it in the main field. Then there are other methods called as dibbling or seed drilling or sowing behind the plow. So these are the 3 methods that you need to know. First is broadcasting. What is broadcasting? Is the means of scattering of seeds. Broadcasting is the mostly followed for small size to medium size crops. It limited requirement of labor and easy approach made this method very popular in the Indian agriculture, though it is less efficient. To have a maximum seedling population in a unit area, specific control should be followed. That means first, efficient human resource needed to broadcast the seed properly, somebody who is having that expertise. The plowed field should be in ideal shape to trigger germination. The seeds are broadcasted in a narrow strip and the sowing is completely strip by strip. Got it? And what are the major obstacle? Due to haphazard seed plantation, 100% of germination is not possible, and hence we think of some better forms of seed sowing. Got it? You know the advantages. What is it is advantages in the way it doesn't need any kind of machinery, right? It's a very common process, very easy process, but yes, the process or the issue of broadcasting is that you would never achieve 100% germination rate in case of your broadcasting method. The second method is dibbling. What is this? Dibbling is the process of using a dibbler, this is an equipment, to place seeds at the cross marks set in the field according to the crop's requirement in both the direction. That means if this is the entire plot of land, you divide that into very small patches. You find out that yes, I need to have a plant here. Then you exactly plot a plant here. Seeds can be dibbled just as desired depth. That means it's a dibbler. For example, if this is the soil profile, okay, think of this is the soil profile. You can decide at what depth I should be putting up the seeds. Okay, कितना depth में मुझे seed को डालना है वो भी आप set कर सकते हो. For example, if you think of I need to put the seeds 6 inches below the surface level, then you can go for this depth and put it there. So dibbling can be done on flat surfaces, ridges, furrows, beds and channels and so on. On a plain surface, rice, fallow cotton dibbled. Seeds are tossed 2/3 of the way up in the ridge and 1/3 on the way down. The fertilizers are kept away from the seeds. On the ridges and furrows, for example, sorghum, maize, sunflower and cotton are planted by this method. What are the benefits? Benefit is steady population, excellent germination. Got it? So what are the different types of dibbler? A dibbler is a pointed wooden stick for making holes in the ground so that the seedlings can be planted. Dibbers are available in different designs such as the straight dibber, T-handle dibbers, troll dibbers, and L-shaped dibbers. Got it? Next method is seed drilling. Seed drilling is nothing than seed drilling is the process of placing seeds at a specific depth in soil that has been compacted. Sowing instruments are used to place the seeds in the soil for this procedure. Implements might be drawn by animals or powered. Seed drills. Okay, so this is a very important equipment in agriculture. Okay, seeds are drilled in rows at regular interval or continually. This strategy allows you to keep the same sowing depth while also providing fertilizer at the same time. That means the primary difference between what I understand, seed drilling and dibbling, in दोनों में difference क्या है? In case of your seed drilling, providing fertilizer is done at the same time. That means we apply seed as well as the fertilizer at the same time. But in case of your seed dibbling, we supply fertilizer on a separate time. Actually, first of all, we go for seeding, then we apply fertilizer on a different time. It is also feasible for plant intercropping. It's a drilling method. This is also feasible for plant intercropping. What is intercropping? Can anybody define?
Growing two crops at the same time.
At the same time. Got it? So this is called intercropping. In a single field, you are growing two crops at the same time. Next is your transplanting. Seeds are planted in a tiny plot of land before being transplanted to the main area. A 4-week period, remember this thing, or 1 month is under nursery beds if the entire duration is 16 weeks. Remember this number. If the entire duration of the crop is 16 weeks, then the time that the seedling has to spend on the right seedling bed is 1 month or 4 weeks. Remember these figures actually, because these all things will surprise you in the exam. Ye kahan se question laya? These are all common things that you should know. Got it? The nursery age is not set in stone. For example, thumb rule is 3-month crop nursery length 3 weeks. Got it? So 4-month crop would be automatically 4 weeks. Got it? Minimum 4 months, then 4-week minimum in time. 5 months, 5 week in time. So number of months of the entire duration of the crop, those many weeks in the bed. Got it? So this is a kind of a thumb rule. Got it? कोई crop का अगर complete duration 5 months है, तो the seedling bed should, right, that the time duration should be 5 weeks. Remember this thing. Seedlings are extracted and reconditioned after the nursery period. The area is equal to 1/10 of the entire area. Remember, we got one thumb rule. In case of the transplanting, remember 2 rules. One is the duration, for what long the seed bed means the total crop age in months, 5 months, then the seed bed time is 5 weeks. This is one rule, thumb rule. The other is what should be the size of the seed bed. For example, if you want to go for 1 hectare of land, this is your crop land, this is the final size of your crop land, then your seed bed size should be 1/10 of the hectare. So 1/10. Got it? If you wish to see on 1 hectare of land, your nursery for transplanting them should be 1000 square meter, because 1 hectare equal to 10,000 square meters. So 1/10. Got it? So these are all thumb rules. Actually, you should be aware. You should remember these all things so that things are easy for you when you appear for the exam. Next. Sowing behind the plow. This is also one method we saw. For example, the plow is going on this direction. It is creating a furrow kind of thing, right? You all have seen if you have been to agricultural field. So behind the furrow, you keep on. आप में से क्या कोई भी, for example, maize का plantation कभी किए हो आप घर में? Have you seen? The bullocks are pulling the cart, right? Or bullocks are pulling the plow, and behind the scene, right, somebody is putting up, right, seeds behind just the furrow created by the plow. Within that, with a proper spacing, you put it. This is called as sowing behind the plow. Sowing behind the plow can be done by hand or by machine. Seeds are deposited into the plow furrows, which are then closed or covered in the next furrow, for example. So this might seem open, but when the plow goes on the immediate adjacent line, the soil portion would cover up, right? So this would automatically cover this space also automatically. The standard approach is time consuming and hard operation. Behind the country plow, this country plow मतलब local plow जो आप घर गांव में देखते हैं, वो plow का नाम है country plow. Seeds such as red gram, cowpea, groundnuts are sowed. Groundnut is the most widely planted crop in this particular method, sowing behind the plow. Is everybody clear with this or any issue? All good?
Yes, sir.
Next. Now let us be little bit aware about the various instruments of sowing. For example, first is we go for plowing. Got it? Seeds are strewn into the furrow created by the plow by hand. Because seeds fall at random in the furrow slice, they fall at different depths. A hollow bamboo tube with a broad hopper called a kadi. Remember this word, it came at times in exam. On one hand and serpent end at the other. With the use of a rope, it is attached to a country plow and seeds are dropped into the cart's hopper. That means मैं picture भेजूंगा आपको, right? You can look for pictures also. Bamboo is, right, it's a hollow kind of thing. So it is created so that you put the seeds and you attach that behind the right furrow at the end of the furrow, end of the plow, for example. So it will automatically keep on dripping one seed each at a time. Seeds fall into the furrow opened by the plow after passing through the tube. Got it? So if this is the kind of, I am very poor in drawing actually. Got it? So if this is your plow, so you fit that here, so that if this is opening of the furrow, then the seeds are coming down and they are getting planted like this once you move on with the furrow. Clear? Next instrument is seed drill. A seed drill is made of 3 to 6 tines attached to a wooden beam. The furrow into which the seeds are dropped are opened by these tines. Hollow are drilled into the tines and the bottom end of the bamboo or the metal seed tubes are inserted into the holes. These seed tubes are attached at the top of the hopper, which is wooden or a seed receptacle. That means at top there would be a hopper like this, like a funnel kind of thing, wherein you can keep on putting seeds and it will go down and it will be planted into the soil. Skilled labor strolling behind the seed drill feeds the seed into this hopper at a consistent rate. So you just look for certain pictures to have a greater idea or a better idea. Next, next comes the germination process. So we have, by this time we have talked about, right, what is a seed, right, what is the need of the germination, or what are the ways of we can say, right, seed sowing के different methods क्या है, what are the instrument relating to sowing. Now let us go to, for example, sowing is done. Now let us focus on the germination process. The seed can, all we know from the definition of seed, that it has some inherent nutrition इसके पास रहता है. Seed automatically has certain amount of nutrition left within the cell. Got it? If all of you remember the nutrient management class, for example, we are preparing seed. We used to go for, right, surface tillering. The word was tillering, yes or no? Do you remember that word? The word was tillering. What is that? Can somebody tell me? What is tillering? We used to spray some of nutrient atop the flower or the fruit, so that that nutrient gets absorbed and it is stored in the seeds. Because seeds के पास अगर ढंग का nutrient नहीं बचा होगा, then it cannot germinate properly. Got it? That method was called as tillering. That means if this is the canopy of the plant, for example, if this is the canopy and it is bearing certain flowers and fruits, we atop that we apply certain nutrient, because our purpose is, now we are preparing seeds so that that nutrient is absorbed within the seed, that can be used during the germination procedure. The seed can induce germination after it has been shifted to a new area and covered with dirt. The method of seed germinating and growing into a new plant is known as germination. The seed must be be stimulated. A seed, for example, it doesn't germinate by itself. It has to be stimulated to grow by its surrounding. Right? All of you know this. For example, somebody might be having very healthy breakfast of sprout or something. Do you think the seed automatically develops that sprout? No. You need to stimulate it. You need to give them the proper environment. You soak it in the water, yes or no? This is usually controlled by how deep the seed is placed, the availability of water, and the temperature. That means, relate to one more thing, I told loam is the best variety of soil for agriculture. Why, you know? Because for germination, you need to have aeration facility also. There must be ample amount of air that is available to the seeds, or else it cannot germinate. And that is why loam is a combination of clay and silt that gave the proper suitable situation for germination of the soil. In a process known as imbibition, remember this word. In a process known as imbibition, the seed fills with water when there is plenty of it. That means it soaks water into it. First, the seed develops a root to locate water underground. Next, the shoots or the growth beyond the ground begins to appear. So these are the steps, understand. First of all, it develops a root to look for water. It is looking for water actually. Once it is getting water, then there would be above surface growth, or what we see as your seedlings. Got it? But the first growth is towards in the source of water, and that's what we call the rooting system. Clear? Is that clear to all of you? So the process of imbibition, you should remember this word because पूछ लेता है कभी भी कुछ भी. Clear? Next. So there are two types of germination, very important for your examination. One is apigeal germination, the other one is hypogeal germination. So let us now know what is apigeal and what is hypogeal germination. Apigeal germination, in this type of germination, the hypocotyle elongates rapidly and arches upward, remember, pulling the cotyledons which move above the soil. That means apigeal means above, surface, towards the surface. Got it? So hypocotyle elongates rapidly and arches upwards, pulling the cotyledons which move above the soil. Example is mustard, tamarind, sunflower, castor and onion. Remember, कौन से crops का किस type का germination होता है. Remember these things, very very important. That's why I have kept this entire thing in a single slide. In case of a hypogeal, it is just the reverse. In this type of germination, the apocotyle elongates and the cotyledons remain below the soils. The example is cereals, grams, red grams and lentils. आया समझ में सबको? कोई परेशानी नहीं होनी चाहिए यहाँ पे. Got it? Apigeal, that means cotyledons come above the soil, whereas hypogeal means cotyledons they remain beneath the soil itself. Got it? So most of the cereal crops are hypogeal germination. Got it? Next. So now let us discuss what are the various factors affecting your germination. There are many parameters influencing the germination application in different plants growth are listed below. First one is your soil. Seed germination is massively affected by soil type, texture, structure and the microbes. Second one is moisture. The availability of seed is wasted when they do not obtain sufficient water, or the process called as imbibition. The sprouts will decay if there is too much of moisture after they have germinated. So you need to have a balanced amount of water. You cannot have very less water or very high amount, right? High standing of water, because the sprout would automatically decay if there is more of water. Next is temperature. The germination rate is controlled by temperature variation beyond and below the optimal temperature. Light, red is the best wave season for germination. Remember this number and the right wavelength also. Red light is the best wave season for germination, while beyond 730 nanometer, there is inhibition. So there could be a question relating to this. There would be questions on the wavelengths and which wavelength, beyond which wavelength there is generally inhibition. That means germination won't happen. That is 730 nanometer. Remember this thing. Red is the best one, that's 662 nanometer, but beyond 730 there is inhibition. Got it? That is no germination at all. Soil condition, it again leads to two types: tilth and depth of sowing. Remember these two factors. Tilth, it is the most important soil factor that influences the germination on seeds. Small seed demand fine tilth, whereas moderate and larger seed require medium and coarse tilth soils respectively. Got it? What is the tilth? What do you understand when I say tilth of the soil? How powdery is the soil actually? That's called tilth. That means how pulverized. How have you managed or how have you prepared the seed beds? For small leads, small seeds, small size seeds, you need to have fine till. That means you should completely pulverize the soil. But for bigger size of seeds, you need medium or coarse till soil respectively. Got it? आया समझ में? Next is the depth of sowing. कितने मिट्टी के कितना अंदर आप डाल रहे हैं seeds को? Seeds should be placed at the optimal depth. When the seeds are placed at more profound layer, they have to spend more energy for germination. When it is placed on the soil surface, it will be taken away by birds or washed away. This is not worked away, it is washed away. The thumb rule is so remember the thumb rule. What is the thumb rule? Sow the seeds to a depth approximately 3 to 4 times the diameter of the seed. Remember, this is also one more thumb rule. Why agriculture is also called as an art? It is because we make use of a lot of thumb rules which are scientific actually. They might look like, if you talk to a very archaic or a very old farmer, he might give you certain rules and you do it this way, this much, but that's very scientific. So the thumb rule is that whatever is the diameter of the seeds, we should place it 3 to 4 times at a depth which is 3 to 4 times the diameter. So if this is the surface soil, we should put it at a depth which is 3x or 4x the diameter of the seed. Got it? The seed sown should be protected from rodents, birds before germination by employing laborers to scare the birds at least for 3 days after sowing. And that's why we say scaremongers, right? Have you seen scaremongers? अरे वो खेत के अंदर जो भूत का पुतला होता है उसी को scaremongers हम कहते हैं. Got it? You must have seen in lot many pictures, right? There used to be a kind of, that's called scaremonger. It is done, it's a practice done to ward away birds or any rodents or something. Clear? Next. Remember these all thumb rules actually, these all will be questions. Next, crop stand establishment. Good crop business is one of the most prominent feature in better crop production. Better crop establishment is in turn denoted as excellent plant population in the field. Crop stand establishment means what? How to develop the optimum or the maximum number of germination. So what is the optimum plant population then? Excellent plant population is the number of plants required to produce maximum output or the biomass per unit area. Following a high plant population, individual plant yield will be low due to narrow spacing, leading to competition between the plants. Remember, and that is why I told the SRI method or the SRI method or Dhadi method is the best one, because if you do not provide proper spacing, there would be competition among the plant for light and nutrient also. So in case of your competition, the plant cannot grow up to their maximum yield. Yield per plant decreases gradually as the plant population per unit area is increased, but yield per unit area increases up to a certain level of population. That level of plant population is called as your optimum population. So how do you define, if I say, what is the optimum population, optimum plant population? That means it is the plant population which is giving you the maximum yield per unit area. Remember this thing. So if you go beyond that, there would be competition and reduction in the complete yield. And if you below that, you are wasting resources. That means unused spaces are there. So optimal, or optimum plant population is that plant population which gives you the maximum possible yield out of an unit area. Got it? Is that clear to all of you? Next, what are the different factors influencing plant population? The factors influencing plant population can be classified into two major sections. One is your genetic factors, the other one is your environmental factors. Got it? We talked about what are the factors impacting germination, but now we are going to what is the factors affecting the plant population. First is genetic factors, size of the plant, The elasticity of the plant. What exactly is elasticity of a plant? We'll talk about that. Then is foraging area, soil cover, dry matter positioning, and a crop variety. Next, the environmental factors are time of sowing, rainfall and irrigation, fertilizer application, and the seed rate. Got it? So these are two major broad categories of factors that affect the plant population in the cropland. So if you move on next, let us discuss about these all individual factors. First is size of the plant. Out of the genetic factor, first one is the size of the plant. The volume occupied by the plants, the time of flowering selects the spacing of the crop. That means simply by looking into the size of the seedling, you should not be deciding on the space to be provided. You should look into the proper size or the complete canopy of the plant when it is in the flowering stage. That means it has reached the maximum shape it should be taking. The plant of red gram, cotton, sugarcane, it's occupy larger extent of space in the field linked to than as compared to rice and wheat. Yes or no? All of you know this. Cotton, red gram, sugarcane, they will occupy per plant, they will occupy more space than rice and wheat. That's common. Next is elasticity of the plant. Let us understand what is elasticity and how it impacts the plant population. Variation in the size of the plant between the minimum size of the plant that can be produce some economic yield to the maximum size of the plant that can reach under unlimited space and resource is the elasticity of the plant. Remember this definition. The variation in the size of the plant between the minimum size of the plant that can produce some economic yield, minimum size of the plant that can produce some yield, to the maximum size of the plant that it can reach when it is given unlimited space and resource. That's called the elasticity. Got it? आया समझ में सबको? The optimum plant population range is high in indeterminate, that means unlimited branching plants. Optimum plant population range is high in indeterminate, unlimited branching plants. For example, red gram, that is 55,000 to 1,33,000 plants per hectare. The elasticity is due to tillering and branching habit of the plants. Got it? For determinate, that means limited branching. Remember these two words. Indeterminate, they go for indefinite branching. For determinate plant, means they don't grow much of branch. Plants like pearl millet, sorghum, elasticity range is very less. For indeterminate, that means unlimited branching, plants like cotton, red gram, more branches will be produced by the crop. Got it? Could you all understand what is the elasticity of a plant? Yes or no? Next, the environmental factor, the time of sowing. That means, yes.
ये वाला जो determinate indeterminate है, ये plant water use में जो indeterminate, determinate और forage crops था, उससे अलग definition है.
हाँ, उसका है?
उससे अलग definition है.
हाँ, this is completely different classification. Okay, got it?
Okay.
This is in respect to your branching. Next. So far as environmental factors are concerned, first one is your time of sowing. Crop is subjected to various weather conditions when sown at different periods. Among weather factors, the day length. All you know, there is a process called as photoperiodism. Yes or no? You must have read this during your 10th or +2. Photoperiodism. Day length or temperature influences much on the plant population. As low temperature retards growth, high plant population required to cover the soil. Rainfall and irrigation. So I don't have to discuss about these factors. All of you know this. I simply kept it. Then is your fertilizers. Automatically it will impact. Your seed rate, quantity of seeds sown per unit area, viability, establishment rate decides the plant population. Under broadcasting, the seed rate is higher when compared to line sowing or transplanting. All of you know this already. Example of seed rate: rice direct sowing 100 kg per hectare, line sowing 60 kg per hectare, transplanting 40 kg per hectare. But if you go for SRI, it comes to 20 kg per hectare. Yes or no? Sorry, it comes to 6 kg or 6 to 8 kg per hectare You remember these all numbers little bit, okay? Next is plant geometry. The combination of plants in different rows and columns in an area to utilize the natural reserves efficiently is called as crop geometry. Remember this definition. It is otherwise an area occupied by a particular plant. Example, a rice 20 centimeter into 15 centimeter. That's the shape of or the size occupied by one particular plant. That's the area occupied by one plant, how much area it is covering. Got it? So these were all the major factors that affect the plant population. So these are some of the recommended planting geometry. Spacing in the crop fields, for example, in case of a rice, right, all of you. So you should read these tables. I don't have time much to discuss about each of them, but yes, you should remember these all things. ठीक है? थोड़ा बहुत आप याद रखें, so that exam में जब आएगा ना आपको उतना tough तो नहीं लगना चाहिए. These all things you cannot remember everything actually. आप सब कुछ याद नहीं रख सकते. So that you should not be surprised, but you should be little bit aware, so that even at all यदि आपको guess भी करना पड़ रहा है ना, तो थोड़ा ढंग का range का कर पा रहे हैं. But I will strictly tell you no need of guessing, because guess करोगे तो गलत ही होगा. But you should be aware कि हाँ ये सारे चीजें हैं हमारे syllabus में जो कि आपका एग्जाम में आ सकता है. You are not going to be an agriculturist here actually. You should not be triggering your preparation like kind of going for a BTech or BSc in agriculture. You should be little bit aware. That's all. Hardly there will be a question of one or two. Next, let us go to the production of seeds. Got it? So in case of the production of seeds, it's a very scientific method actually, because we have all our research centers, right, ICAR, which are mostly involved in production of seeds, because a better quality seeds can completely change the scape of agriculture, and that is already proven in case of a green revolution. Got it? So first one is, let us talk about the seed health. Seed with good germination capacity and seed vigor. What is seed vigor? Can somebody explain me? What is seed vigor? It is the ability of a particular seed to grow to a full size plant. Got it? That's called the seed vigor. Clear? So seeds should be devoid of insect damage, infestation by any other microbe like the bacteria or fungus. Physical purity of the seeds should be very, very good. Physical purity of seeds should be maintained at 96 to 98%. Remember this number. And the seeds should be uniform sized and shape without any damage. Seeds should be devoid of any inert material like dust, stones, seeds of other crop varieties, broken seeds, or weed seeds. After the harvest, seeds should be separated from the sappy seeds. Sappy seeds matlab wastage. And insect or disease affected seeds in order to maintain the physical purity of the seeds. Or else if you keep everything in one place, the other healthy seeds should also get infected and get destroyed. Got it? Next comes to your genetic purity. In seeds, it need not be simply the physical purity. We need to have genetic purity of that also. The genetic purity of seeds should be maintained to ensure the quality of the seed. The traditional and inherent characteristics of the seed should be maintained from generation to generation and are referred to as genetic purity. The characteristics of progeny should be exactly the same as the mother plant, and hence, if the characteristics of the offspring plant is as equally the same as the mother plant, then we say there is maintenance of the genetic purity. The genetic purity has been maintained. We can say it that way. Moisture content of the seeds. Remember this thing. Seeds with high moisture content will lose their germination vitality and viability soon. Hence, it is necessary to maintain the exact moisture content of the seed to ensure the good germination. Capacity and viability is hugely affected because of the moisture content. Seeds should be stored at a safe moisture level to 9 to 13%. Remember these numbers. The moisture level should be between 9 to 13%. The moisture content of the seed is measured directly using a digital moisture meter. So if you have a bag of rice or bag of wheat, for example, you simply can punch in a kind of moisture meter into the bag, and it will give you the moisture content. That's how it is done. In case of your procurement also, we have a fair average quality. All of you might be aware about FAQs. That means fair and average quality. When government or anybody buys seeds or crops from you, they have a standard FAQs, fair and average quality. Got it? So factor influencing the seed production. During the seed multiplication, certain guidelines should be followed. Otherwise, the quality of the seeds would be affected. Seed multiplication, what is that seed multiplication? You developed one seed, you are multiplying it more. Site and land selection plays very important role. It should be completely free of pests and diseases. There should be adequate irrigation. There should be adequate drainage even for rainfall pattern. There should not be any other crop variety seeds still laying on the sand, so that we get the ultimate result and have documented reports. Next, selection of species and the seed source, then the field preparation, seed selection. So these are all the methods or the steps that you should be aware about while production of seeds. Next is your seed testing, then comes your seed germination. Why am I focusing certain areas? Because they are very important for your examination. Germination capacity of a seed refers to the capacity of seed then that germinate normally and produce all parts of a healthy seedling and grow. The necessary part of the seedling include a well-developed primary root, young pair of leaves, one or two cotyledon. If it is monocotyledon, it will have one leaf. If it is two cotyledon, then it will have two leaves, dicots, or what we say. The percentage of germination, number of normal seedlings by total number of seed germination into 100. That's called your percentage of germination. Next is germination rate. 70 to 80% is an indication of high seed viability. So if there is a germination of 70 to 80% of the seeds applied, then there is a higher viability. So beyond this, we call that as higher viability. Germination can also be affected by the seed dormancy. Got it? Next is seed vigor. Seed with good vigor will produce good quality seedling that will grow and give good yields. Seed vigor, the total of all the seed attributes. Remember, this is the definition of seed vigor. It is the total of all the seed attributes that favor rapid and uniform standard establishment in the field under varying field conditions. In general, seed with good germination capacity and uniformity in size will have good vigor. It varies from species to species. आया समझ में what exactly is seed vigor? A countable number of seeds can be sown in small pots filled with moistened sand or soil, sorry, not sand, and placed in a sunny area. After a few days, the number of normal seedlings in each pot should be counted. That's called your seedling rate or seed vigor. In order to check this seed vigor, that's what we do. Next. What are the various reasons for seed dormancy and how it impacts? Seed dormancy is the temporary suspension of growth of viable seed accompanied by reduced internal metabolic activity. That's the definition of seed dormancy. It is the temporary suspension of growth of viable seeds accompanied by reduced internal metabolic activity. Unfavorable climatic conditions like temperature, variation, or lack of water lead to seed dormancy. Dormancy may occur due to presence of hard seed coat. The coat is very hard. There could be seed dormancy. Immature embryo, and also due to the presence of germination inhibitors in the seed. Remember, there are certain natural chemicals also which prove to be seed germination inhibitors. It may be due to the exposure of seed to excess heat, light, or darkness, and also due to the presence of chemical toxins in the seeds. Dormancy of the seeds can be broken by any other following method. So what are the methods for breaking the dormancy? Very, very important for your examination. First is scarification. What is scarification? Removal of the hard seed coat by rubbing the seed with sandpaper. Example is pulses. We little bit loosen up the seed coat so that the rooting system can easily come out. That's called scarification. Hot water treatment. Soak the seeds in hot water at 45 to 50 degrees centigrade. Example, tree crops. We go for this. Then is leaching. Soak the seed in water for overnight to remove the germination inhibiting chemical present in the seed. Example is coriander. So these are the three important methods which we generally use for removing of seed dormancy. Got it? Yes or no? Next is stratification. Subject the seeds to a very low temperature of 0 to 5 degrees to break the embryo dormancy. Light treatment is there. Next, sowing season individual treatment is there also there. Got it? So these are, I am supplying you with everything, right? There is a comprehensive note also, you can read that. Next, I think we should stop it here. We'll take up the class again in the evening, wherein we'll complete the next portion. And there are important 5 to 10 questions in the next portion. You should be very familiar. So in today's session, we mostly talked about up to the germination procedure. Then we'll talk about certain technicalities, certain important questions relating to your seed. What is the development method of seeds? What are nuclear seed? What are breeder seed? What are certified seeds and all that? Clear? So let's stop it here and we'll take up once again in the evening in order to complete the session. Thank you. That's all for today. Please revise. I'm supplying you with the note and questions also. Try to solve. There is no need to solve all the questions. If it is possible from the notes for you, then it's okay. Or else you can revert back to me for clarification also. So by the end of this session today evening, you should be ready with the answer of the questions being provided also. Thank you. Have a great day.